Button. Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Nerd Ledger. I am Cage. That is Parasect. Just kidding, it's Chair.
Yep.
But you got a
It's chair.
picture of Parasect.
Yep.
You know, Pokemon Go made me really dislike Parasect.
Oh, why?
Just because there's so many, Parasect evolved from whatever little thing.
Paris.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And there's so many Parises everywhere. And so you catch them all, and then you evolve into Parasect. But then, that's all there is. I had so many Parasects and Pidgeys. Did, did you
Yeah,
do
well, you get
Pokemon Go?
candy. I did do Pokemon Go for a bit. You get candy, to level them up and stuff like that off catching the same Pokemon. So, that's kind
Yeah.
of the idea.
But
You
it's
need to
just not a
release the
very
ones.
interesting Pokemon once you start catching more exciting ones?
Yeah.
But I get you. Yeah, I remember. I thought Pokemon Go would never die, and then it died like 6 months later.
Yeah.
So you
Well, it's
know,
still kicking around. It's still got like a couple out. I got a few other gifts and all that kind of stuff.
yeah. But you don't really have where you're driving around town and there's just groups of people at every local park, ready to do raid battles and shit.
Yeah, those days are gone for sure.
Yeah. But and I mean, even it started to die a little bit before. Well, it was already kind of dead by time COVID hit, but then COVID really killed it, obviously, because nobody's going out anywhere. But
Yep.
yeah. Anyway, um, today we're gonna talk about Marvel Zombies. I'm pretty sure. Did you watch it?
I did watch it.
Okay, so we'll talk about that. But first, have you heard of Hold on. Have you heard of Tilly Norwood?
Nope.
Okay, well, um, there's some controversy here because Tilly Norwood is an AI actress.
Ugh.
And what are your thoughts overall on AI?
It's not really AI. It's more like machine learning. It's not really. It's just really complicated thought bot. It's not really like an actual artificial intelligence as we know it from science fiction and stuff like that.
Okay, but do you think so? I think in professions like artists, music, a lot of entertainment fields, they're very opposed to AI in general because they think it's gonna one take away jobs potentially. It takes away the individuality of art. If you start they're against it being used to create music, to create film, to create music videos, to create any form of art for album artwork. Tattoo artists are now being inundated with people showing up with AI generated images for tattoos. Like a lot of those fields are really against it, and I don't know if it's. Do you think it's like? Do you think AI will eventually be a part of these fields no matter what, and people are just they need to get with the times, kind of, like the horse and buggy industry when the automobile started coming out? Or do you think there's some point, like, that they have a point?
Well, it's kind of shitty right now, but eventually it'll be like a tool used by everybody. It's no doubt about that one. It's already used in a lot of industries where it's not related. Like in real estate, the one I work in is heavily dominated by AI and stuff like that.
Yeah. To me, I do think, like, AI will replace a lot of jobs,
Mm.
but I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It's a lot of people would say it is a bad thing because a lot of people are very against capitalism as a concept.
Mm.
Um, this is what capitalism is. This is the core center of our economic model. Is that we continue to innovate and create, and as a result of innovation and creation, you make old things obsolete, but create a lot of new things, right? And that is the standard we use. We look at you look at the automobile industry, right? One of the biggest industries in the entire world, but it put a lot of people out of work who were creating buggies for horse and buggies, right? Like people creating wooden wheels and wooden chariots and shit like that. Like those whole industries were destroyed, but you replace them with better industries and higher paying industries and higher paying jobs. And I think AI will do something similar. One of the negatives about that, right, is you create you eliminate a lot of lower skill, lower paying jobs. So there are less entry level positions for people to get into to eventually learn and grow and get better paying jobs. But at the same time, you are creating better, higher paying jobs, which is a net benefit. But it's always going to be difficult to have those kind of conversations about capitalism and the economy and how those things work.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the Screen Actors Guild has released a statement condemning this AI actress. And it's become a contentious subject in Hollywood after her creator, Aline van der Velden, recently claimed that multiple talent agencies were interested in signing the AI creation. The Acting Guild believes, quote, creativity is and should remain human-centered, end quote, and quote, is opposed to the replacement of human performers by synthetics. They said, to be clear, Tilly Norwood is not an actor. It's a character generated by a computer program that was trained on the work of countless professional performers without permission or compensation. It has no life experience to draw from, no emotion, and from what we've seen, audiences are not interested in watching computer-generated content untethered from the human experience. It doesn't solve any quote-unquote problem. It creates the problem of using stolen performances to put actors out of work, jeopardizing performer livelihoods and devaluing human artistry. The Guild added, signatory producers should be aware that they may not use synthetic performers without complying with our contractual obligations, which require notice and bargaining whenever a synthetic performer is going to be used. Amid growing industry backlash, amid growing industry backlash against Tilly Norwood, who was created by the AI production studio Particle 6, creator Aline van der Velden issued a defense by saying Tilly is, quote, is not a replacement for a human being, but a creative work, a piece of art. They said, I see AI not as a replacement for people, but as a new tool, a new paintbrush. Just as animation, puppetry, or CGI open fresh possibilities without taking away from live acting, AI offers another way to imagine and build stories. I'm an actor myself, and nothing, certainly not an AI character, can take away the craft or joy of human performance. Hollywood stars such as Melissa Barrera, Kiersey Clemens, Mara Wilson, and more were quick to condemn the AI creation. On social media, Whoopi Goldberg opened an episode of The View by doubting an AI actor like Tilly could ever replace a human performer, adding, you can always tell them from us. We move differently, our faces move differently, our bodies move differently. During a podcast interview with Variety, Emily Blunt was shown a picture of Tilly Norwood and reacted with shock and fear. Blunt said, does it disappoint me? I don't know how to quite answer it, other than to say how terrifying this is. No, are you serious? There's an AI. Good Lord, we're screwed. That is really, really scary. Come on, agencies, don't do that. Please stop. Please stop taking away our human connection. So that's the full article. To the creator's point, right? You could argue that animation is taking away jobs, right? Potentially. The question is, does the AI actor, quote unquote, do they do their own voice lines, or does someone need to record it? I'm guessing that it's all part of the AI. Like, no one is actually recording that. So that's already, something different than animation, because when you have animation and CGI, I mean, someone still has to voice the character. But I think the truth of how this will all shake out in the next 15 to 20 years or whatever is that at some point AI will be a part of filmmaking, whether it's to create CGI or background characters, or it's already kind of a part of that. I think they've already used AI or CGI to create like stand-ins or background characters or whatever that just kind of walk around, like, they're in video games, they're NPCs. But I don't know how ultimately it'll shake out. But I do think AI is going to be a part of the industry. I don't think you can necessarily replace the connection of a human actor. Um, whether it's a physical performance or an animated vocal performance, right? Like it's going to be something that's hard to replace. I don't really have a full opinion on any of this. I just thought it was kind of interesting. So
Yeah, I don't know. The only thing I think I disagree with how they talk about it is how the AI is trained, which is essentially it's trained like every other human being is trained by studying, what other people did and then trying to recreate their own and failing and miserably like failing 400 times until it gets like it right the 500th time or something like that.
yeah,
And then eventually it develops its own unique style. With that being said, I find artificial AI is like whenever it pumps something out to be too perfect and clean, and it's off like it's usually like you can tell it's AI most of the time. To be 100% honest with you,
yep,
and it's very basic. Like it can only follow very basic prompt commands or stuff like that before it gets all fucked up. And I just think that we train these things the same way we train people. I don't know why we need to say all of a sudden that everything like you is stolen if you try and like recreate a piece of art 500 times during practice and stuff like that. It's not stealing anything. You're just learning how to do art.
yeah. And
Um,
you're not going to get a whole lot of sympathy from really anybody about actors who make millions of dollars, but not being compensated for an AI learning from them. Like
yeah,
nobody's going to feel bad about that.
yeah, exactly. And they're getting trained on specific ways, and it's just got to be it's gonna happen no matter what. So it's either you get with the times or you don't. Again, I just think that how we train these things is very human, very human.
Yeah,
That's why it's called, they should be called like machine learning bots instead of true AI, because it's not AI. It really isn't. It's not a machine that's capable of thinking on its own. It needs someone to be participating in the equation for it to act off its own, right? It's not AI.
yeah. So I mean, someone created
um
it, right? Like,
yeah, exactly.
but
And it's
yeah, but to your point, it is absurd. Like it'd be like saying like I owe Metallica and System of a Down money because I learned
I used to
how to play
practice their
guitar
songs.
listening to their music.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's like, and you probably know how to play some Metallica songs. It's not like they're gonna freaking go and like scrape that knowledge out of your head. It's there forever. You know how to play a
Yeah,
copyrighted song,
yeah,
and people go to bars to see cover bands that play their people's favorite songs and stuff like that. It's like it's kind of the same shit. Like it's just what actors are worried about like the ownership of their image and everything like that. And it's just I don't know, man. That's kind of a weird thing
yeah.
to be worried about in this day of age. Like there's always gonna be new actors that come out.
Yep.
So.
Okay, I'm gonna ask you if you care about this, and if you don't, we'll move on and not talk about it.
All right.
Do you care about JK Rowling and Emma Watson going back and forth?
I mean, not really, but it's good it's free content, so I'll go over it if you want to.
Sure. Okay. So there's a rift between J.K. Rowling, the creator of Harry Potter, and Emma Watson, who played Hermione Granger in the Harry Potter movies. By the way, Hermione Granger wasn't my first celebrity crush, but was the one I had the biggest crush on, starting with like Goblet of Fire area. That's not relevant to the story. I just thought I'd say it anyway. So this rift between J.K. Rowling and Emma Watson started back in 2020 after the Harry Potter author began sharing views on the transgender community that many found to be transphobic. Watson joined Harry Potter co-stars like Daniel Radcliffe by publicly opposing Rowling, sharing a statement at the time that, quote, trans people are who they are. They say they are who they say they are, and they deserve to live their lives without being constantly questioned or told that they aren't who they say they are. So Emma Watson, hold on. Yes, so she was on a podcast recently, and she was asked about kind of the rift or whatever. Um, do do do. I'm trying to find what she said, but she pretty much said, like she had like it's hard for her because she has like diametrically opposed situations where she respects J.K. Rowling as the author, and as she knew her personally as well, and it's a person she loves, but she has views that Emma Watson doesn't agree with, and it's hard for her to coalesce those two things, right? So J.K. Rowling has has said some things, and I'll start with those. So JK Rowling has taken aim once again at Harry Potter actor Emma Watson amid their ongoing rift, making headlines. The author wrote in a new post on X that Watson, quote, has so little experience of life, she's ignorant of how ignorant she is, claiming that she once got a letter from Watson that allegedly showed sympathy towards the public backlash Rowling was enduring for sharing views on the trans community that Watson had already publicly disagreed with. In her X post, Rowling said it is completely fine for Watson and Radcliffe to have their opinions that do not align with her. She explained, quote, I'm not owed eternal agreement from any actor who once played a character I created. The idea is as ludicrous as me checking with the boss I had when I was 21 for what opinions I should hold these days. Emma Watson and her co-stars have every right to embrace gender identity ideology. Such beliefs are legally protected, and I wouldn't want to see any of them threatened with loss of work or violence or death because of them. However, Emma and Dan in particular have both made it very clear over the last few years that they think our former professional association gives them a particular right, nay, obligation, to critique me and my views in public. Years after they finished acting in Potter, they continue to assume the role of de facto spokespeople for the world I created. Watson and Rowling's rift became a viral talking point this month. We went over there. She spoke on some podcasts. Rowling wrote in her X post that she had always turned down requests to comment on Watson in the past because, quote, I didn't want her to be hounded as the result of anything I said. That now changed given Watson's interview with Jay Shetty, in which Watson said that she can still love her experience of working with Rowling on Harry Potter movies while disagreeing with Rowling's views on the trans community. Rowling continued, this is what Emma Watson said. Finally, I fucking found it. She said, I really don't believe that by having had that experience and holding the love and support and views that I have mean that I can't and don't treasure Joe and the person that I had personal experiences with. I will never believe that one negates the other and that my experience of that person I don't get to keep and cherish. According to Rowling, Watson once, quote, asked someone to pass on a handwritten note from her to me, which contained a single sentence, I'm sorry for what you're going through. She also wrote that Emma Watson does have her phone number. She said this was back when the death, rape, and torture threats against me were at their peak, at a time when my personal security measures had to be tightened considerably and I was constantly worried for my family's safety. Emma had just publicly poured more petrol on the flames, yet thought a one-line expression of concern from her would reassure me of her fundamental sympathy and kindness. Like other people who have never experienced adult life uncushioned by wealth and fame, Emma has so little life experience of real life. She's ignorant to how ignorant she is. She'll never need a homeless shelter. She's never going to be placed on a mixed-sex public hospital ward. I'd be astounded if she's been in a high street changing room since childhood. Her quote-unquote public bathroom is a single occupancy and comes with a security man standing guard outside the door. Has she had to strip off in a newly mixed-sex changing room at a council-run swimming pool? Is she ever likely to need a state-run rape crisis center that refuses to guarantee an all-female service? To find herself sharing a prison cell with a male rapist who's identified into the woman's prison? I wasn't a multimillionaire at 14. I lived in poverty while writing the book that made her famous. I therefore understand from my own personal life experience that the trashing of women's rights, in which Emma has so enthusiastically participated, means to women and girls without her privileges. The greatest irony here is that had Emma not decided in her most recent interview to declare that she loves and treasures me, a change of tack I suspect she's adopted because she's noticed full-throated condemnation of me is no longer quite as fashionable as it was, I might never have been this honest. So that's pretty much it. JK Rowling is a very good writer, okay? She created a world of fantasy in which many, many, many generations of children were encouraged to read and learn, and I think that is a wonderful thing. She has her opinions on the transgender community because of her beliefs around women's rights and women's rights to their own spaces and safety, etc. We're not going to discuss any of that. It's just kind of funny, like that now there's this whole public discourse between her and Emma Watson because Emma Watson is trying to you know, come to terms with a person she loves holding views she disagrees with, which is, by the way, something that normal human beings do all the time.
Yeah, it was a bunch of stupid bullshit. So, like I don't know, like it's really funny to hear JK Rowling like talk about how rich Emma Watson is when JK Rowling like, made all of her money because she, again, creative thing, something I want to do one someday is write a book. But you just write a book at the end of the day. You're sitting there alone in your room pulling the words out of your head and you do a little research and stuff like that to make everything consistent. But at the end of the day, you know, you're really lucky when your book sells. Let's put it like that.
Yeah.
You're really lucky when your book sells.
I mean, I think the point she was trying to drive home is Emma Watson doesn't need to care about protected spaces for women when it comes to the transgender community because she'll never need to, right? Like, she doesn't need to worry about being in spaces that are women's spaces that might be at risk because now there are biological males who identify as women now intruding those spaces.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that's her opinion. I don't know. Anyway, that's it. I mean, yeah, that I thought that was interesting. Like, because now it's just like so widely reported. It's crazy that we even really care about the opinions that celebrities hold. But hey, here we are. It's America. Okay, let's talk about Marvel Zombies.
Yeah.
Should we start with what was good about it before we get into what was terrible about it?
Yeah, I guess. Like, I don't know. I didn't think it was good or bad. I thought it just kind of happened, like, oh yeah, it was entertaining. Like, ooh, there's like the voice acting was like the VCRs you watch, sort of like Toy Story, like the direct to video Toy Story remakes or something like that, and it's just it was
Yeah. I mean, I said we'd start with the good, okay? Not the bad.
all
Because the
right.
voice acting is fucking awful. All right? Let's be honest. The voice acting in this show is bad. And I don't know if it's just the voice acting or also the writing, but it's bad. Good parts. The some of the kill sequences were pretty cool.
Yeah.
Infinity Hulk was
Yeah, it was
pretty
very
cool.
gory.
Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity Hulk was cool. It was very gory. At least there was that. There was like the gore part of the zombie. When you see zombies, you expect to see some blood and stuff like that, and it was pretty bloody.
Yeah.
You watched heroes die viscerally a lot, so that was good.
Yeah. And by the way, spoiler warning if you haven't watched it. We're talking about it with spoilers. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I guess some of the background here is
Infinity Hulk was kind of a bitch though, like they saw him out to be super powerful and stuff like that, but then all like he looks really cool, but when it comes to like the actual fighting, he's like kind of a bitch. And I was
well,
expecting him to move like godlike grace or something like that,
he doesn't really make sense because like
Mm.
they spend the first like couple minutes you see him demonstrating how powerful he is, and then he just gets his ass kicked the rest of the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what
Like
the
when
fuck
he
is the
gets sucked
point?
underwater, why is him like getting sucked underwater like suddenly the zombies are more dangerous to him all of a sudden,
Yeah.
because he's underwater. It
Yeah.
is dumb. I
Stupid.
thought that was a cool sequence. That prison under the sea is like a zombie survival hideout was pretty cool. The Scarlet Witch taking over as like, the undead queen was pretty dope too.
Yeah.
Um,
Um,
but is that all from Marvel Zombies? Do you own those comics? Is that I know it's a
no,
comic book series as well.
so it's a comic book series, and then they've rebooted it once, I think.
Mm.
I'm gonna be honest. Marvel Zombies was quote unquote cool when I was like really into reading comic books, back in like 2009, 2010 ish. People loved it, and I thought the entire idea was stupid, so I didn't read it. I never read Marvel
Mm.
Zombies because to me it's like it's an Elseworld kind of thing. Like I didn't really care to spend my time reading this event comic that didn't ultimately matter, right? Like that's how I looked at it. And sure, there might be some cool things in it, right? And obviously there are cool things in this show, like some of the death sequences, just some of the fighting overall, pretty cool. But I didn't need any of that, so I never read it, and to this day I haven't read it, so I couldn't tell you. But what some of the background around this show is they had an idea to make it a movie, and ultimately there's two reasons they didn't make it a movie. Number one is it'd have to be rated R, and Marvel doesn't do rated R like that, right? With like their mainstream characters, and so they couldn't have had the cool gore sequences if they had made it a movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then also they wanted to use Spider-Man, and with the rights issues with Sony, they couldn't. So they have the
Yep.
rights to him in TV, so they made it a TV show. Um, but it other than those couple things, I just thought like it was kind of a waste of time. Like,
Yeah, that's what I think about most Disney Plus shows. That's why I'm not like watching them. And I don't know. I kind of think about that about Peacemaker a little bit too. Not gonna lie. Like I don't know. I haven't watched it yet, but I heard it's like got an important tie in the Superman movie. But I don't know, man. Like I don't really want to. I'm not some unmotivated to watch it.
I would not say it's a quote unquote important tie to the Superman movie. But yeah. No, I so zombies is like, okay, Kate Bishop, Kamala Khan and Riri Williams. That interesting enough. Okay, we start with some characters that could be interesting. But like Kamala's more annoying in this for some reason. I don't know. The voice acting to me is just not very good. Um,
Yeah, the voice acting in this show is subpar for sure.
yeah, and so like in the story, it's the entire thing is pointless. Everything is pointless. Like, okay, here we have a zombie apocalypse. This is the plot of the story. We have a zombie apocalypse. A ship shows up where a miniature homing beacon kind of is inside somebody. They get the homing beacon. They need to get it into space so they can call the Nova Corps to help them. They go through all this bullshit to go to Asgard to get in a spaceship to go to space. The Nova Corps is already there, trying to contain the planet, and they're gonna kill everybody. So that's useless. And then their plan is no longer to try to get assistance from the Nova Corps, which is what the first 3 episodes were about. Now in the final episode, we need to. Who knows how we're going to stop it, but we're going to fight, guys. We're going to fight the zombie apocalypse with like 10 people and the Infinity Hulk. And now Kamala is going to be offered something from Scarlet Witch. And yeah, apparently she's just living in a fantasy world and nothing changed. They're all still zombies.
Yep.
like, like it's just so pointless. Like, what the fuck was the point of that? I don't know. Okay, Captain Marvel fighting Icarus and then killing Kate Bishop. That was pretty cool, I guess. Um, Spider-Man ripping off a bunch of zombie heads at once with his web in slow mo. That was pretty cool.
Yep.
Infinity Hulk beating the shit out of zombies, being all powerful. That was pretty cool until then he started getting his ass kicked.
Yep.
Like Red Guardian fighting half of Steve Rogers. That was pretty cool. But like to me, this show, because the voice acting was so bad, was missing any real emotional connection, and ultimately, like, there's just no point to it. Like, nothing changes. Like, nobody wins. Just a bunch of people die, and yeah, there's nothing. It's just no point. I don't get it.
Yeah, it was Marvel Zombies, like there was a bunch of references, like there was Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, and they, some stuff happened there, and they were driving through the desert as like road warriors. They were singing a song, all happy,
Mm-hmm.
because it's Marvel and it's got to be pop culture and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't
Uh-huh.
know, like I just had the 4 episodes on in the background when I was doing other stuff, and that's about how was entertaining I was. Like the only time I stopped to watch is when the Infinity Hulk was first on scene because he looked really cool. And then the rest of the time I was just like looking over going like, oh wow, there's something going on, like I didn't really, it's not, when I'm watching anime, sometimes what's going on is so fucking cool. I have to stop gaming and I have to put what I'm watching on the big screen. I have two screens. I have two
Mm-hmm.
monitors. I have my really nice $170 curved gaming monitor that fucking can be pointed in all different omnidirections. Even though I point it the one way, it's got 444p refresh, all that kind of all that fancy stuff, right? And then have my shitty old Samsung monitor that I've had for like 15 years, right? Like you can tell the contrast and the colors between the two monitors, and obviously the nice gaming monitor has better colors and everything like that. And I take whenever I'm watching, I take it over, drag it over to my main screen, and pull it up full screen and watch what's going on. Right? I never did that once in Marvel Zombies. I was watching it in the background of like some pretty boring games that you just play when you're bored. And I don't know, man. Nothing. It's just like, it was cool. They went to that undersea base. And they're like, get some of the death scenes were cool, but most of the time it was just them like running around making like quirky Marvel type jokes while in a zombie apocalypse.
Well,
And it
yeah,
was like
and
it was more of like a crossover episode than it was about Marvel zombies. It was
yeah,
like, oh wow, these heroes are interacting. Wow, cool.
and
You know,
Blade Moon Knight was cool.
yeah, that was pretty dope.
But that, like, it is, yeah. And to your point, like, I put the first two episodes on, like, while like in the living room. My wife was like reading something on her phone, and usually
Mm,
if I put something on that's like good, like, she'll start watching it with me. But like
mm,
with this, it's just like, because the voice acting was so bad, I was kind of cringing throughout the whole thing. And like, she
yeah,
wasn't even paying attention. Like, she didn't care because it wasn't very good. Like, if it
yeah,
was good, she'd start watching it. Like, that's how, like, we start watching any show together. It's never like, I'm never like, hey, do you want to watch this show? And she's like, yeah, let's watch it. Usually it's just like, I'll put it on and she'll be in the room and she'll start watching it if she enjoys it, right? Like, she had no interest in this show whatsoever.
yeah,
To me, that's like, that makes it not very good. Like, there are things that I can watch that are not great, but I'll watch them with her and we'll enjoy them together. But like,
yeah,
this was clearly not even good enough to be entertaining, you know?
yeah.
So, like, again, there are some entertaining sequences or parts of it, but overall, like, I just thought the story was not great and the voice acting was terrible. And yeah, it's not enough to keep me interested in this kind of show. So, um, yeah. But there's also, I don't know if you watched any of them. There's like, they've been doing like these Lego Star Wars specials. So like, it's like rebuilding the galaxy kind of thing, and I know they're grabbing a bunch of pieces from EU in there as well, and apparently Darth Revan's in one of the episodes, and they did a whole Darth Jar Jar thing before, and I haven't watched any. I've watched like 1 or 2 episodes from the first one they did. Like, there's 2 4 episode seasons, I guess. I don't know. So I don't know.
Mm.
I'm gonna watch it, and hopefully it's not terrible. But I haven't watched it yet. And also, Vision season 3 is coming out soon. It has a trailer.
That'll be interesting.
Did you watch the Mandalorian and Grogu trailer?
I did. It looked really good.
Yeah, I thought it looked good. But apparently, some people are disappointed in it. I think it looks fucking sick. So, and like, hopefully they can do more with Grogu and this kind of, you know, give him more kind of responsibility and have him do some cool stuff, because he's more of like a proper sidekick now. So, but yeah, AT-ATs and new Razor Crest and all sorts of things. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. Are you excited, Chasington? That's my dog. He's not very excited. He doesn't care. He looks like he
doesn't
just watched
understand.
Marvel Zombies.
Yeah,
Hey,
it was pretty.
so
Aside
interested.
from Infinity Hulk, just looking really cool. I think that was the only thing that I can think of off the top of my head from Marvel Zombies.
Yeah, and it's the same kind of animation as from What If, and I just wasn't a fan of that animation style even for that. So I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
What If had it had 3 seasons and like 4 good episodes. So it's kind of the same thing, right? Like, maybe if they made like 3 seasons of Marvel Zombies, there'd be enough good content in there to make one decent season. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. It just wasn't that interesting to me, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know what the future holds for Marvel that much. Like, we
They
don't
just
have.
gotta stick to movies, man. That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah,
That's it. Like these Disney Plus shows are not it, man. They're not it.
yeah,
It's they're just they're just mindless entertainment now. There's nothing else important that's coming out on Disney Plus that's like, important for the MCU or anything like that.
yeah. And you wouldn't really expect there to be. I mean, like, Disney Plus can continue to do decent things. I think like Disney is just, unfortunately, right now, kind of a poorly run company. I don't have any thoughts or opinions, but I know they lost a lot of subscriptions because of the way they responded to Jimmy Kimmel. Again, we're not gonna comment on that kind of stuff. I don't think, but yeah. So Disney needs to do something with their platforms to get people to be interested enough to sign up and watch something. But Marvel Zombies was never gonna be that anyway. Like so. I mean, it's cool for the hardcore like fans, maybe, but I don't know. I would consider us more than the average fan, like interested in Marvel stuff, and it just doesn't pique my interest. So
Doesn't pique my interest at all. I'm not motivated to watch it at all. Like, I'm not gonna rewatch it. This is like, if it was something cool, like the first Avengers movie, right? When something cool happened, I went and rewatched scenes on YouTube and stuff like that, right? There's nothing in Marvel Zombies I'm gonna go back and rewatch, like, again and again. Like, wow, it was so cool,
yeah,
you know. Because again, like Infinity Hulk, he was really cool when they first introduced him, but then he turned into like a bitch that couldn't like fight zombies underwater, and it was like just really, it was really, he didn't have like these weird godlike powers he thought like something called Infinity Hulk would have,
yeah,
and it's just I don't know, man.
yeah. I mean, I guess seeing Black Panther take out Thanos was pretty cool. Like zombie
Yeah.
Thanos was, but yeah, I don't know. What's funny is like a couple weeks ago, I was getting tattoo work done, and then like someone came in because they had an appointment after me, and I was
Mm.
talking like they were getting a Lord of the Rings tattoo, just like some elvish lettering, and I was talking to my tattoo artist, and I was like, "You're talking about Lord of the Rings?" Because I'd seen some cool like American traditional style Lord of the Rings tattoos that I thought looked really sick. So I was talking to him, and then I started talking shit about the Hobbit movies, of course, because it's hard to talk about Lord of the Rings without talking about how disappointing those movies were. And then the person like who had an appointment after me was like, "Yeah, fuck those movies." And I was like, "Yeah, you get it." So, yeah, yeah.
Trying to think of what else the Marvel Zombies there was that we can really talk about, but also like
Oh,
not a lot.
you know what else we can talk about? We can talk
Mm.
about how one of the destinations they needed to go to during the zombie apocalypse was Ohio, and it looked the exact same as Ohio today. Like Ohio is a fucking shithole, guys. Like I get it, it's a meme. Like people meme Ohio, like there's nothing in Ohio. Ohio sucks. I lived in Ohio for 6 years. It's not a meme. Ohio is shit. Okay, like why, like of all places Shield has a base, it's Ohio, because nobody would ever fucking want to go there, right? Like here's our top secret base because nobody will find it, even if it's in the fucking wide open. Nobody's gonna find it because it's in Ohio, and they have to go to fucking Ohio during to find the fucking base, and it's the same shit. It's Ohio during a zombie apocalypse. It doesn't look any different. Okay, even animated, it's the same shit. Okay, Ohio sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's my rant about Ohio. Anything else?
No, I've never been to Ohio, so I can't really rant.
No, I don't actually hate Ohio, but it's just like ironic. Like of all places to go during a zombie apocalypse, you go to Ohio, and like even if it wasn't a zombie apocalypse, nobody wants to go to Ohio. So
Yep.
um, yeah. No, there's nothing. There's nothing. Um, nope. I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of the show and anything that was interesting. But there just wasn't really anything interesting. And I didn't really get Kamala Khan's dreams either. I'm guessing the whole thing was an illusion the whole time. I don't fucking
I
know.
have no idea, homie.
Like Scarlet Witch was in her dreams, but then Scarlet Witch like was in real life, and then like at the end she thought everything was back to normal, but it wasn't because the facade was breaking. But then that was like way back already when Riri was still alive. So then what actually happened? Was it all an illusion? We don't fucking know. It's stupid. And it's left to the viewer's interpretation. Well, then you're not very confident in your writing to actually provide something of interest. So anyway, that's it. Nothing else.
That's all we got.
Yeah. Thanks for listening. Hopefully we didn't bore you to death like Marvel Zombies did. Lamau. Anyway, like, comment, rate, review, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye.